You are listening to the Our Hustle podcast, a platform for entrepreneurs to share their journey and hustle for 1 hour. I'm your host, Akio Nagapuri. And before we get started, make sure to subscribe at Our Hustle on all platforms and leave us a review letting us know your thoughts. And now, it's time to start the show. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Thank you so much for being on the goddamn pod.
Great to be here, bro.
This shows a lot. The fact that we went from meeting each other at the gym. It's a funny story about how I met you too.
Yeah.
Meeting each other at the gym and then making it all the way to you coming to my 100%. Crib for the podcast. So I appreciate you,
dude. I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Of course.
It's a pleasure. You know, you're a gracious invite. You know, offered to make protein shakes, so I love it, man. You know what I mean?
I promise you, I'll get isolate from now on. Like that's gonna be a word that haunts me every time I go to sleep. It's isolate, because then when I see you, I'll be like, bro, make sure it's fucking isolate.
Dude, that's how it works, though, right? Like I picked that up from somebody else. They were like, hey, isolate's the way to go. Now I'm spreading it to you. You know what I mean?
Now I know, bro.
That's it, bro.
I mean, that shit was fucking up my skin for a while, though. Yeah. Like when I do whey protein, grass fed.
You'll like it a lot better.
I always have pimple problems, bro. But this is a very important episode. Yeah. I actually am happy that I know nothing about you.
Yeah.
Because now I'm actually genuinely curious to be like, yo, who in the world is Chintal?
100%.
You know what I mean?
I'm excited to dig into it, bro.
But I'll start it off with how I met you, which is a really funny story because I think I followed you out of the blue, right? And you have a significant amount of followers on Instagram, so I'd love to get into that about how you built that little empire up.
For sure.
And I would see you all the time on Instagram, and then, go to the gym. I would see you, but I never put two and two together to be like, this is that person. Because your avatar makes you look a little bit more different, right? It's a little edited, etc., etc.
Of course.
So I was like, whatever. I didn't think too much into it.
Yeah.
And then something happened, I guess. Maybe I hit you up. I don't know. You could tell me better. But then I finally put two and two together. I was like, oh, this is the dude that goes to the gym with me. What the fuck? And I remember I came up to you. I DM'd you, and I was like, yo, you go to the gym, East Florida. And you were like, yeah, dude, I see you sometimes. And then I hollered at you when I saw you.
That's what it was, bro. It was a straight up, it was a DM, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And, I feel like DMs are mad underrated, right? Like, you DM somebody and just make a connection, and that's how it was, man, you know? And, we're both in business. We do multiple things. We partner up with different people. Mm-hmm. So the more you can connect with other people is, like, the best, right? So I'm glad that you reached out, man. That's the same thing that I would have done. And here we are, bro. You know what I mean?
I just know, even without really knowing exactly what you do and what your career path is, etc. I just 100%. Know you're a hustler. You just look like a hustler,
Thank
bro.
you, man. I appreciate that.
Looking at your Instagram, I was like, this guy's a hustler, right? Yeah. So let's start with, where were you born, first and foremost?
We're taking it way back.
Let's go. We gotta go back.
I love it, man. I was born, actually, in Pennsylvania.
So okay.
I was born in the States in Pennsylvania. I moved to Jersey, in Piscataway, when I was like 6 years old.
6 years old. Yeah. Why did we go to Jersey of all places?
For sure,
and
man.
why did we move over there?
So I have a pretty interesting childhood. My dad is a business owner.
Okay.
And when I was in Pennsylvania, my dad had a nightclub.
Okay.
So he had a chain of nightclubs actually, and he's like my number one guy. Like he's my hero, right? So he's been a hustler, and that's where I learned all my hustler stuff from.
Right.
Him. So he started a business, and it's very different to own a nightclub for especially Indian people or immigrant people, right? Normally don't think of that, right?
Yeah. Half of us don't drink.
Yeah.
And in nightclub activities.
He didn't drink at the time. Yeah. So it was like kind of like it's a little strange, but he saw that it was a money making opportunity. So he's a hustler. So he's like, all right, let's open up these nightclubs. So I ended up opening up these clubs, and from the time that I was about 1 year old to 6 years old, we were in Pennsylvania, and he had 3 different nightclubs in Pennsylvania.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I was pretty much born and raised. And then I moved over here when I was 6 because my grandmother had passed away. And that was his mom. So grandmother passed away in Piscataway. He had a house here in Piscataway and then the clubs down there. So then we came up and we were like, all right, let's live here because my grandfather was alone at the time.
I see.
So we made the transition and come up here.
And did your grandpa move in with you guys to stay with you guys, or he had his own little
crib? Yeah, so we had a house in Piscataway that my dad would come back and forth to, but we lived in Pennsylvania.
I see.
You know what I mean? So we would come back and forth. But then when my grandmother passed away, we were like, all right, my dad was like, all right, let's just move back.
To take care of him and be around him and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. To be around family and stuff like that.
And these nightclubs in PA, were these upscale nightclubs?
No, man, not upscale. They were just kind of like the local neighborhood bar that you would go to.
Right, okay. That had a dance floor.
Had a dance floor, had a DJ, right? Every Friday, Saturday night, they throw these big parties, these fucking huge parties, bro.
Yeah.
Packed, to be state troopers outside. Like, it was crazy.
Jeez,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
It was crazy, man. He was on the news and everything because the clubs were doing, like, really well. But what ended up happening was, it was like, what it was there were 3 different nightclubs, and it was super difficult to manage all of them.
Yeah.
So that's where like we started running into problems a little bit when I was like about 5 or 6 years old. And then that compounded with my grandmother passing away. We made the decision to come over.
And what did he do? He sold off all 3 nightclubs, or what did he do?
Yeah, man. So if you want to get like super into it, we'll jump into it, man. So what happened was we actually got racially profiled at the nightclubs. We had state troopers come, and they were basically offended that Indian people were operating clubs in a 95% white town.
Interesting.
So what happened was police just kept harassing us. And eventually my dad's like, yo, I ain't taking this shit.
Yeah.
You want to pull up to my place of business and fuck with me.
And what would they do?
They would literally come in and be like, yo, noise complaint.
Oh, even if there wasn't any or whatever, maybe. Dude, just to pick on you guys.
But it's like, it's commercially zoned, right? So there's no noise complaint violation.
I just realized that, yeah.
Right?
It's a fucking building in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so like the first thing was, all right, commercially, it was a noise complaint, right? And then my dad's like, all right, well then fuck you. Noise complaint, I'm putting insulation in the whole building.
Yeah, so you
it's $1 million building, right? He put $70,000 of insulation in there.
Damn.
Like that.
Yeah.
Insulated it, they would come back with some other shit. And eventually, the 3rd or 4th time, they straight up told my dad, we don't want Indian people here.
Really?
They straight to
Did he get the idea from like the first 2 times or something? Like,
yeah, he kind of had an idea. But then eventually, the cop just became more of a dick, right? And he straight up just told him. And then there was like, bro, if you're going to a nightclub, right? Pretend you're trying to go out with your boys, have a good time, right? If you know police are coming to the club that you're going to.
That makes it mad sketch.
Yeah, you're like, dude, I don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're trying to have a good time, get away from stuff, right? You don't want to end up there. So the clubs are doing really well. They started to dwindle down. Dwindle down.
Because people are like, yo, this is like a state trooper thing. Like cops show up all the time.
Exactly, right? Yeah. So then what ended up happening was at the 4th or 5th time that they ended up showing up, they just told my dad straight up, like, we don't want Indian people here.
And this is a course of how long? First time to 5th time?
This is probably within 6 months.
Okay.
Within 6 months. So this was the 3rd club out of the 3 of them. This was the 3rd one, and what ended up happening, right? So it was a long story, but I'm gonna give you like the best version of it.
Yeah.
So my dad is a fucking fighter, right? This guy's a fucking warrior, right? So he's like, yo, if you want to fuck with me, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Okay.
So he goes to he follows the entire police department. He files a lawsuit against the entire police department.
Okay.
Of that area, of that jurisdiction. The case starts in like 2001 or 2 or something like that. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. It was a 10-year process.
Jeez.
It went all the way to the Supreme Court. Eventually, because of some lawyer bullshit or someone didn't file some shit on time, the case ended up getting dismissed. Wow. But it was like at the time it was a $15 million lawsuit. So it was big. It was like my childhood was like brought up with my dad fighting this whole case for 10 years plus. The state of Pennsylvania.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And when you say $15 million lawsuit, does that mean $15 million potential payout? What does that mean?
$15 million potential payout. At one point, they decided to pay him $1 million, but like just to settle the whole thing. They were like, he said, fuck that. And he was like, fuck that. You guys cost me more than that.
Holy shit. So there's the fighter in him right there. Yeah. Well, fighter to even go and fight all of Pennsylvania. Yeah, bro. And then 2, to be like, I'm not settling for $1 million. You guys really fuck with me. Yeah. This is a big thing. So what happened then? Like when it got dismissed, that's just money put to lawyers and then not getting a payout from that.
Yeah, so it was heartbreaking. Bro.
Holy shit.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, so there was multiple businesses involved, and he was good, man. He was like, he started hustling. So he came here when he was like 15, and he's been hustling. He saved up all the money, he invested into businesses. When everything went down, basically what happened was we lost everything. We lost our house. We got foreclosed on. We were almost homeless. We pretty much were. Almost.
This is after the lawsuit dismissal.
This is after the lawsuit dismissal. Everything went to shit, bro. Like it was tough, man. My dad was the type of guy where like he would take care of all of his people, send checks out for all this stuff, buy brand new cars, like take care of his family. My mom didn't work. Like it was legit.
And then it was just
came from the bottom.
180.
He came from the bottom. He came when he was 15, right? And then it was complete 180. He lost everything. We lost everything. We were on the street. We ended up moving into an apartment. My dad couldn't even sign for the apartment because he didn't have proof of income or anything at the time. He spent all his time just trying to get the money from the case, which we should have gotten technically. But I mean, it is what it is. It's in the past, right? But what ended up happening is me and my brother grew up in a situation where it was like very heartbreaking, very, very disturbing, you know, to see your father go through something like that. And as a family, we went through it.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah, man.
There's resilience right there. And then how did he... this is turning into, and I'm excited. This is turning into a podcast about your pops.
Yeah.
But I know how. There's a reason why I'm still going on this and so
course.
curious about it, because it's going to go into how it created you as a human being, right?
Exactly, yeah.
How it created Chintal at the end of the day.
Of course, man.
Right? This is just the origin story.
Yeah.
This is like Batman Begins and then there's Dark Knight.
Yeah. I guess you want to put it that way.
You know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So when did he finally, when did everything start flipping again?
Yeah, great question, man. So I grew up in that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I had this outlook of the world that was like, man, the world's out to try and get me. You know, like I came up from like pretty much obviously nothing, right? And it was so hard for me to see that, and it was constant struggle all the time. So
how old were you at this time? After dismissal?
After dismissal, I was probably like 12, 13, something like that.
Okay.
You know, I don't remember exactly. A lot of it's blurry, but around 12 or 13 at this time. And yeah, man. So I had this very bad outlook of the world that like it was out to try and get me and my family. So but out of the ashes, if you will, kind of rose like where my personality was developed, my hustler mindset was developed. Because I've seen when shit goes south. I've seen when shit goes bad, like to a level where like not a lot of people have. And I'm honestly very grateful for that experience because it's literally shaped who I am today. You know what I mean? And that's where I strive. Like all of my greatness now and in the future comes from knowing that, you know, this is how shit could go. And I know that I never want to be in that situation again. So it's like, I will do whatever it takes to not put myself or my family in that situation again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
And when your dad, and obviously when your dad...
my bad. To answer your question, when it started turning around, it was about, I would say 2012, 2013, somewhere around there.
Was this 10 years later?
Yeah, this is 10 years later. So it was rough, man, because the problem was like the case like kind of fucked up my dad a lot, right? And like normally like this is where you hear about like suicidal stories and depression and shit like that, right? Like I was in positions where I had to stop like family members from committing suicide and things like that when I was like 13, 14, you know, so like it was rough, you know what I mean? And it was a family thing, so like a lot of people within the family also invested their money into this,
right?
You know what I mean? So when it goes down, it kind of fucks
the whole thing. The whole thing cascades, down,
you know, the whole thing cascades. But the reason why I turned around is because my dad started another company. Him and his brother, right? They started another company. It's a moving company, and I think they've been operating now for like 13 or 14 years. Okay. And it's in Piscataway. It's called Best Moving Service. So yeah, they turned everything around, started making money again, and the whole thing got switched. So the ending is a good story. Like now they're running successful businesses and they're happy.
Wow. And when you say moving company, what are we talking about? Like moving?
Residential and commercial moving. So it's like they have a fleet of trucks, they have a staff. We go out, do movings. You know, basically, like let's say this is your apartment, like y'all want to move from here to Jersey City.
Oh, take all the furniture,
put it in a truck, and then
I see. Okay,
yeah.
Which is freaking beautiful. That's like such a viable business
plan. And
right?
I actually used to do that when I was in school. So like I would on the weekends.
You would help people.
I would take on some of the jobs. So like while I was in school, I would do that.
Oh right, when like for him, for the best moving company,
for the family business, for the family business.
He'll be like, oh, like you know, you need to take this and go to like Patterson or something like that.
Exactly.
This family's moving, so you got to pick up the furniture, put it in the trucks, and take it off.
I was basically like a manager. Like I would come with my two guys and a truck and pull up to the house, talk to the client, gather all the stuff, put furniture in the truck, then go to the next place, reassemble everything, the whole thing.
Holy shit. I can only imagine how much liability comes with that, right? Because now expenses too. You're buying the trucks, you're buying, you know, the fleet. Yeah. Then you're then liability of handling people's furniture. If it breaks, you're fucked, right?
Yeah, so like check this, bro. Like the way they started the company was like they had the idea and they didn't have any money at the time. All the bullshit that happened. So they bought a used pickup truck for like $500.
Wow.
And the first moving was done in that pickup truck.
Wow, dude, that is
and they paid
true
off the
hustle
truck.
story.
Yeah, they paid off the truck in like a week.
That's
and then
amazing.
they fucking just kept going. Now they got 5 big ass trucks.
Fuck, we're talking 18-wheelers, bro.
Not 18-wheelers. They're like, you know the box trucks, like the U-Haul size.
Oh, yes.
Like
he has like 5 of those.
Like 5.
Oh, that's more than enough. Why would you need an 18-wheeler? That doesn't make sense. Yeah. Holy shit.
Man. So like literally fucking from the dirt. You know what I mean? That's pretty much how I've experienced my whole life. It's like from the dirt, rises something, you build character, and that's how you fucking...
Or everything was good, dirt, and then go right back.
Yeah, but the good part was kind of like, I didn't really see much of that. You know what I mean? Like, I know my dad did,
right, the beginning.
Because I was young. I was so young. You know what I mean? Like, he was telling me, like, when he would buy new cars and get new shit, and, like, we had the house and like, all this shit. But like I didn't see much of that because I was still so young. I was probably like 3, 4, 5 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can't remember much of that. What I remember, the majority of my childhood was like
the bad part.
With the bad part, the struggle. But in hindsight, it was the fucking best part. You know what I mean? Because
that's what taught you.
That's what taught me everything.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing too, right? Is like your story is so important because the fact that you went from having a lot and then losing and getting it again is far more impactful than you just having it all. You wouldn't know that you have it all.
Yeah.
Like when you see somebody like, I don't want to use him as an example, but like Jaden Smith, like he's never gone through struggle, bro. Like,
True.
So he doesn't know, like his dad buying new cars all the time might just be life. That's just it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Until you go out and you look at other people that can't do that, and he's like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's so important. Now, do you feel like that also, think about this, here's like an alternate like universe. It's like your dad never made it again. Like it was just that bad part, you know, infinite, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that would have even helped you to start a business yourself? Because I feel like, and you answer this question, it's like, because your dad went through the bad part and then, you know, persevered again, did that give you the motivation to be like, oh, like, business is a roller coaster ride. Like, yes, it went down, but it's not always going to stay down. You could always come back up.
Yeah.
And that gave you the motivation to start, you know, do your own stuff.
That's a great question, dude. Actually, I started hustling even before shit went back up. You know what I mean? Because I knew, right? Like, obviously, when you don't have any money, when you can't pay for shit. Like, I'm talking about no money in terms of, like, we'd be sitting in the house and the fucking lights would just go out. Yeah. And that'd be normal. That'd be like, oh shit, I guess no power today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or else we'd be watching TV and the cable would just cut out. Like, oh fuck, I guess we don't have cable now.
Yeah.
So me and my brothers, we used to watch like, we had like a fucking, you remember Pokemon?
Of course, bro.
Yeah, so we had like a Pokemon cassette. We had like 3 of them. And we'd watch the same fucking thing every day when we came back from school. Literally
like the same episode?
The same fucking episode. Like every day, the same fucking episode. And then sometimes we spice it up and like fucking get a new tape.
We're like, damn, bro, Pikachu still knows Thundershock? What the fuck,
Straight
bro?
Up.
Bitch didn't learn anything.
Straight up, the same shit, bro. You know what I mean? We just literally watch the same shit. So it was like that type of environment, right?
Holy shit.
Just so you get the picture of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I knew that not having money is this. So I already picked that piece up. I'm like, all right, bro, if I don't want to live like this, I got to start making money. I got to start hustling. I got to start doing something, right? So I started already my hustle journey even before my dad started making it up. Like by the time that they started getting the new truck, like that pickup truck, that $500 truck, bro, I was already out working on cars, flipping cars, like trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? Just trying to make something happen. And we ended up coming up together almost, you know, and it was great.
Interesting.
Yeah, man.
But what about that fear of failure that so many people have? How come you didn't have that?
Bro,
how come when you bought that car to flip it, you were like, oh my god, why the fuck did I buy this car? Is it even gonna flip? You know what I mean?
Great question. And not to cut you off, but
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
If you think about it, right? Like if you start from fucking zero, you can't lose.
True.
You know what I mean?
Like what the fuck? Yeah.
You can't lose, bro. If shit's already like, if your fucking light's already cutting out, it's like, where's the fear? You know what I mean? I already know what this fucking feels like. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So starting from zero is kind of like the best thing that you could do. You know what I mean? It removed all the fear.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, bro. I might as well give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, it's not amazing, but it's amazing from what you learned from that to be able to. You went through something that literally not a lot of people could go through, man. Yeah. Or I mean, I'm sure a lot of people go through, but like I said, your story's even more unique, man, because you had it all, lost it, and then had it all again. Yeah. Which is amazing. Yeah. Right. So was that the first business that you got into? Have you ever had a 9-to-5? Is a better fucking question.
Kinda, not really, but kinda. So when I was in high school and college, I used to work at Pep Boys. Okay. So it wasn't a 9-to-5 in the sense that like
this one.
Yeah, right here.
Next to Stop and Shop.
Pep Boys. Like, yeah. Not the terms of like I would go in from 9-to-5, but I had a regular job.
I see. Okay. Some sort of stable income job.
Yeah, some kind of job, but it wasn't like I wasn't full time. I was just doing it while I was in school or something like that.
So you came here when you were
came to Jersey when I was 6.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were living in Piscataway ever since.
Yeah, I lived in Piscataway ever since.
So what were you like who was Chintal in like middle school and high school? Like what's the personality we're talking about?
That's a great question, man. Yeah, man. So I was a fucking troublemaker, bro. I've always been a troublemaker. Like I've always been, you know what I mean? Like because I've had the view of the world that the world's out to get me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, then fuck the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just did whatever I wanted. I didn't listen to my teachers. I never fucking did homework in my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I just did what I wanted to do, and I just picked up interest, and I tried to do that. I've always been I have a tendency to be a naturally curious person. Okay. So I've always been curious about things, like different things, what I could do. The school environment was never for me. I can never really like adapt myself to it, you know. And for a lot of reasons, I don't think I had the characteristic traits that people in school excel with, right? So,
like listening.
Yeah, like listening,
doing work,
listening, like
coming in on time.
Yeah, for me, and then like the significance of it all. I was like, how the fuck is it gonna help me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it would be like algebra.
Fucking
like,
chemistry. Like, I don't fucking need this shit.
I don't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was partly because I knew that I wasn't gonna pick up a career. Like for everyone else, it makes sense, right? Like if you're trying to be a pharmacist, right?
You need that.
And boom, you need that. And I'm grateful for that. I'm not trying to shit on the school system. Like, yo, it's irrelevant. I feel like obviously it's important, but there's certain roles, right? Like I love the quote. Like you can't really teach a swim. I mean, you can't really teach a fish how to climb a tree. You know what I mean?
It's just okay.
Yeah, and you know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's not in their nature.
It's not in their nature.
So why force it?
Why force it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, then you already fucked it up.
Interesting.
Because now the fish is gonna think it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I thought. I thought I was a fucking idiot, bro. Like the whole time I was growing up, I thought I was like, bro.
And how were your parents reacting to you not doing well in school?
Well, yeah, that's actually a great question too. Like all Indian parents, bro, they were like, nah, this shit is not right. Like you gotta focus more, you gotta do homework, you gotta do this. But my house environment was also so fucked up that I was like, I didn't really think about doing that. I was like, how can I make my next dollar?
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't really care about the homework because the homework was either if the homework gets done or not, the light's still gonna cut off.
Was there somebody in the family that was like not literally like, yo, Chintal, fuck school, like you're doing the dollar thing?
Yeah.
But was there anybody in the family that was looking at you like school isn't the most important. Like, yeah, do good in school, but I also appreciate what the fuck you're doing because you're learning a lot more than what school could ever teach you. Like, were they that, like, not the word woke, but like that progressive to be able to say something like that, even as Indian parents?
Not really, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, not in the beginning.
They're traditional.
Not in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
Like, not in the beginning. Like, the whole priority was to get me to somehow finish high school and then go to college. Do my SATs, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I actually did do that. I ended up taking the SATs, doing well on it, went to school. I got a bachelor's and like a whole thing, right?
Wow. I mean, wow to the doing well and not on the SATs.
Yeah,
thing.
and I'll tell you why that happened. So my propensity to fuck around and just bullshit ended up leading me down. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard this analogy, but it's like, say like the starting line is here. Say like you're running a race and the starting line is here.
Mm-hmm.
If it moves an inch, you're like, all right, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll just move up a little bit. Say it moves a foot now. You're like, all right. I mean, yeah, just moved a little bit, so it'll move a little bit more. It's fine. And then it moves fucking 20 feet. And at a certain point, you just get used to the fact that the line moved.
Right.
Right. So that's how it felt when I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, I was a bad kid. I was a troublemaker. I used to steal shit. Like, I used to not go to classes. I used to do a bunch of bullshit that I shouldn't have done.
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening is eventually I crossed the line too much and I ended up getting arrested. Right? And the troublemaker kid in me felt it. Like, boom, this is real now.
Yeah.
In the back of a police car. I'm arrested. And they're taking me to the police station. And once I was locked in the room, I was like, shit. Now I labeled myself somewhere. None of it felt real before because like there weren't that many consequences.
Yeah.
But eventually, I crossed a line that I shouldn't have crossed, and it landed me in legal trouble.
What did you do?
So I was always into cars, right? Like as a kid, and I liked to work on cars. I flipped cars to make money. Like, so I tried to steal a radio out of somebody's car.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I tried to steal a radio out of somebody's car, and I was young. I was like 15 or 16. I was 16. Yeah, I tried to steal a radio out of somebody's car, and to me that, I mean, obviously I knew I was doing something wrong, but it didn't fully click for me because I was already doing other shit that was less severe, that like the line just kept moving.
You're taking it to sell it? Like,
yeah,
it's like selling parts, but you're like stealing the parts to sell them.
Exactly. So
I see.
Yeah, so I ended up doing that, and then I got caught. Police came, arrested me, took me to the station.
Fuck.
And then that's when my world fell apart.
Yeah.
That's when that, you know, that fucking moment where everything changes.
Yeah.
That's where it came.
Like you would credit it to this exact moment, sitting in the precinct.
Yeah, and I think like part of me was like thinking about it, and like I don't know, this is probably subconscious, but like my dad always, he's a very like high integrity man. Like he would never do anything that would go behind somebody's back or something like that. And for me, I felt like, all right, well, this dude did it the right way and he still got fucked.
Right.
So for me, subconsciously, I feel like, was like, all right, well, I mean, I might as well just do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
I could do things the wrong way.
Like, that goes back to your viewpoint of life.
Yeah.
At the age of what? Like, literally from 6 onward, right?
Exactly. So I think that it was somehow part of it. But anyway, all those actions led me to that certain point. I was in the room, no windows, locked with my hands cuffed behind my back. And I was like, fuck.
Holy shit.
Like, now I'm in some serious shit.
Yeah.
Like, I could end up, I was in high school at the time. I was like, yo, I could end up getting expelled. I could end up being in jail, prison. I don't know. I have no idea. Then at that point, I realized that I fucking disappointed myself. I disappointed my parents. And the way that I was living was not going to cut it.
Right.
You know? So eventually what happened is they released me that night. And I had a court date for like 3 months later. And that court date was going to decide whether or not I actually served time in jail.
Holy shit.
Not.
Yeah.
And then I had the realization at that time that I was like, I better turn my life around.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I went to my dad and I'm like, hey man, I know I fucked up. Like, I know I did a lot of shit that I shouldn't have done. And he was super disappointed in me. And I remember the conversation, he was crying. He was like upset. He was like, bro, like, this is like worlds apart. Like, I get that you don't like school. But this is what
I was asking for.
This is not okay. You know what I mean? Like, this is not. You can't even go this level. You know? You gotta also factor in, like, being an immigrant's different, bro. Like, you know, like immigrants expect their children to like excel to beyond like regular levels. Like, literally, you come home with a 95. Your dad's like, why don't you get 100?
Yeah, like, you know? We brought you here. Yeah, like, we didn't bring you here to fuck up.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would have, bro, if I was getting 75s or 80s, my parents would have been fucking ecstatic. But, you know, I was doing shit that was like not even calculable. Right. So anyway, I'm there and I realized that I fucked up. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I have a decision to make. I have a conversation with myself. The greatest moments of my life have been conversations with myself. Yes. You know? And I realized that I got to get my shit right. So what I did was I went to my dad. I told him, I confided in him. I'm like, bro, I know I fucked up, but I want to turn this shit around. Yeah. At this time, my pops is like, he still doesn't have enough money to like live comfortably. Right. But he's like starting to get his grips, you know? And I remember he told me, he's like, listen, I have a plan for you. Start taking an SAT class. That's the only shot you're gonna have. My GPA was like college. He's like, yo, this is the only shot that you have to get into college. He took $5,000 from his like brother or somebody. Wow. That he didn't have, and paid for a class for me.
Holy shit.
And then I realized, I was like, dude, I gotta fucking give this shit my 100%.
Yo, absolutely, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what did you end up getting on that SAT? Do you remember?
Yeah, the first time I took it without any level of classes or anything like that, I ended up getting like this is the time when it was out of 2400.
It was 24 hours. Yeah.
I got like an 1140 without anything.
Yo, that's me too, bro. Yeah. I got that shit after new and shit.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I was like, with 1140, like, it's really hard to do anything. Especially if
shit with that.
Especially if your GPA sucks. Right? My GPA was shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like fucking so low, bro. Right. Like, I didn't think they bothered to calculate that shit. Yeah. So anyway. So like I get this 1100 and then I'm like, all right, let's get the classes. So I do the classes, bro. These classes were rough, bro. They were fucking 8-hour days. Like, I would take an SAT in the morning, like every morning for like fucking weeks on end. It was ridiculous, man. But I ended up doing this shit and I ended up getting like a 1780 after it was over.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah, like I went fucking crazy. You know what I mean? I had mad support. Like I did not do this shit myself. Right.
You had a lot of people there.
I had my parents. I had like my cousins. Like everybody would help me out. You know what I mean? And I got mad lucky with that. There's no way that I would be me without all the support. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, I ended up getting 1780. I got accepted into Rutgers.
What's going on, guys? If you guys are enjoying this episode so far, make sure to follow me at Akil NJ Realty on all social media platforms. All of them. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, okay? And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and check out the Apple Podcast version. And if you're listening to this, go check out YouTube. All right, back to the episode.
This all happened after those 3 months where I was like trying to figure out what to do because I was waiting for the court date. Mm-hmm. So when the court date hit, it was like January sometime. And the court date hit, and they told me that, like, my attorney that I hired was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna work this out for you, don't worry. And she ended up getting getting me a good like deal, I would say, or just cutting me loose and
not going to jail.
And it was like a 1 year or 2 year probation period.
Wow,
like,
holy shit.
Yeah.
But what was the opposite spectrum? What was the worst that could have happened?
Worst that could have happened I would have served time in jail.
Like how many months do you think?
I don't know. It could have been up to a year maybe.
Fuck, bro.
You know, because I was like 3 or 4.
Shit.
It was like 3 or 4 like misdemeanors or something like that. It was.
Oh, that you ended up with?
Yeah, I ended up getting like 4 charges.
That's fucking night and day, bro.
Yeah, I ended up getting like 4 charges, and like I got so lucky, bro. Like and you know what's funny, bro? I've always had big dreams.
Yeah,
like, even when this happened, I've always had big dreams. Like I've always wanted to be a multimillionaire. I've always wanted to be like someone super successful.
Doing what?
Always had that vision. I don't know what. It didn't really it didn't come to my mind like what it would be. But I always knew that I had something in me that was a little different and that I would somehow succeed. You know what I mean? And my actions didn't really equate, but I've always had the vision. So like when the court date happened and I was talking to the judge and I was like, I was crying and everything. I'm like, hey, listen, judge, I know I fucked up, but I'm turning my life around. I promise you, like, don't let me go through the system and like my life will get fucked up basically. And he was like, he told me something. He was like, if you want to be successful, you can't be doing shit like this.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then and you know that's he let me go basically.
Holy fucking shit, bro.
Yeah, bro. But ever since then, it's been fucking full stop, like fucking gas pedal, like just fucking 100%.
Yeah, going in
100%.
So what is it that you do now? Great
question. So basically, what I did was when I was in high school, I was flipping cars, working on cars, working at Pep Boys, right?
Yep.
And I started making a little bit of money. Then I went to Rutgers, got my bachelor's. But my last year or two at Rutgers, I was like, all right, I know I don't want to get an internship and get a job because I'm meant for more than that. So I was like, all right, what can I do? I was already flipping cars. I'm like, oh, let me flip houses. And that's when the transition happened.
So you were saving up money from flipping cars to use that towards flipping houses?
Well, you know what, man? I never took money from my parents after that. I think that 5 G's that my dad spent. Never took money from them.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yo, I'm going to take care of myself. And I'll prove it to you, you know? So I started working. I used that money to get me through school. I used it to get me through school, pay for my car, pay for my gas, like food, everything. You know what I mean? Like pay for my tuition, everything, right? So I used all that car flipping money to pay for all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't have as much saved. You know what I mean? So like, I think it was a couple grand maybe. But yeah. So what happened was I started looking for deals. I'm like, all right, I know I want to flip a house, and it's just fucking YouTube University. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, literally.
Trying to figure out like, yo, what can I do to make money that doesn't make me have to go get a job,
right?
Because my whole thing was like, I don't want to go get a job because I know what happens when you get in the system. They hit you with the $75K offer, and then you get pulled in, and then 2-3 years later, boom, you're at 100, and then you're at 120, and then it just keeps on going, and then you're fucking 45, and you're like, fuck, I got a fucking mortgage, I got this money, and then like you're comfortable, and you're like, I don't want to do shit after that. So I knew how the system worked. Like even though I was like in a million different places, I still somehow had an intuitive sense of like what I didn't want.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want to go down that path. And I knew that there was more out there for me. So I decided to flip the first house. I found a deal. And then I contacted as many investors as I could to fund the deal.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful, bro.
You know what I mean? So I was like, look, I'll do all the work.
Yeah. You just got to chip in the money for it.
You just got to chip in. And I was like, bro, it was hard to get investors because I was fucking in college, bro. Like, I had never done flip, nothing, right? So like, why the fuck would I invest $250,000?
Exactly.
When, you know what I mean? I'd rather just do it myself or whatever, right?
Exactly.
But luck works out sometimes, right? So like, you know how they always say like, opportunity meets luck? You know what I mean? Like, you get lucky the harder you work. You know what I mean? So what ended up happening was none of the investors that I met with or talked to, no one said yes. But at this point, my dad and my uncle started making some money. So my uncle, he was like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it with you. So that was the first flip. The first flip was my uncle funded it.
Wow.
I did all the work. I was fucking driving to, and bro, I was so basically in New Brunswick, they have a court like meeting every Wednesday.
Okay.
It's at 1 p.m. and that's where they do the sheriff auctions for foreclosed houses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I was going there in between classes for like a year, just looking for a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I bring my fucking laptop. There'll be like a bunch of fucking investors there. Be the youngest motherfucker there. You know what I mean? Sat there with my laptop, just like looking at, like just hearing shit. No money, right? Just hearing shit, trying to figure out how this whole shit works. I did that for like a year, and then I ended up finding a deal online. Then boom, contacted
It's an auction home.
Yeah, it was auction home. It was an auction home that I purchased.
Interesting.
Yeah,
But a
and
lot
then
of these
flipped it.
auctions home, from my understanding, you probably know better than I do, but with the auction home, it's not even that it's sold as is, right? But it's also sight unseen sometimes, right? You're just buying it and winging it and hoping that it's not completely destroyed foundationally.
Yeah. So,
Right.
So the biggest thing for real estate, right, is you got to buy undervalued.
Yeah,
That
of
was the
course.
biggest
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
Right? Like, of course, there's a bunch of uncertainty because it's sight unseen. You don't know what the fuck is inside. But if you buy it at a deep enough discount, you'll be all right. You know what I mean?
But the whole point is that you want to profit too, though, right? So it's like, but a lot of you're also, you know better than I do.
Yeah.
But it's like you're also looking for this undervalued home, right? So you're not putting that much. You're getting a discount off of it, which you will already because it's an auction home.
Yeah.
But also that you're getting in a good street or neighborhood in New Brunswick where it will at least go up in value, so you could profit off of that money.
100%.
Right?
100%. Yeah.
You know?
So that was all part of the decision, right? Like, how do I... First, I was trying to learn how to be a real estate investor. You know what I mean? I was worried about the money later. I was like, let me first learn how to be a real estate investor. That's when I started YouTube University. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I started picking up real estate books. I knew if I wanted to do a flip, I had to buy undervalued somehow.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where the auction comes in, because I knew MLS would be really difficult to find under market value. You know what I mean? Because there's so many buyers, and usually MLS properties are accepting just conventional loans, right? So people can pay as much as they want, basically. You know what I mean? But with auction properties, it's all cash.
Right.
That already drops your buyer pool.
Yeah.
Right? It's only cash people, right? So now you're already fishing in a
smaller pool right there.
Smaller pool. You know what I mean? With less people in it, right? So that was number one. The second thing was that I need the sight unseen shit was actually good, because how many people are gonna actually buy a property sight unseen?
True.
So that also reduced like my competition a little bit.
Yeah.
Now the only thing that I had to do was run the comps properly to make sure I don't bid higher than the comp value.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? I had to make sure I had to get that spread. So once I did the comps, I was like, yo, this is the maximum that I can spend. I literally bid up to that amount. Ended up getting the deal.
And where is this place in New Brunswick?
This place was in Lawrenceville. Jersey.
Lawrenceville, okay.
Yeah, Lawrenceville.
It's
It was
pretty
like-
far from here, right?
Pretty far. It's about an hour.
Hour,
45 to
yeah.
an hour.
Hour
right
down south?
Down Route 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Mercer County, I think.
So you were driving there back and forth constantly, and now this is a whole nother journey.
Between classes, dude. Between classes. I'm fucking
Jeez.
driving to the house, driving back.
Do like a minor thing here.
Yeah, like fucking... Bro, at that time, there was nobody, bro. There's no employees, no contractors. It was just fucking... You know what I mean? It was just me. It was just like fucking... All right, well, like, this shit needs some paint. I don't know shit about paint, but let's go to Home Depot and find out, you know?
Yeah.
So I go there and be like, all right, well, like, how does paint work? They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know?
Right, like there's different types of paint. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, and then
what's
like-
good for this home? What's good for heat?
Yeah, all this bullshit, you know? So, like, I'm trying to describe to you, basically, like, I jumped in without really knowing much.
Knowing shit.
But I was just like, fuck it, I gotta do it. So, and it kind of goes back to the idea where, like, if I started with zero, what the fuck am I gonna lose anyway?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just a mentality that I've usually adopted. But anyway, so we ended up buying this property. We ended up doing some work to it. A lot of bullshit came up that I had no idea about.
Right.
But we got through it. You know what I mean? And when you're placed in situations, you really have no fucking idea what you're capable of until you're placed in a situation where you have to be capable.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So that's what
Your
ended up
back is
happening.
against the wall.
Exactly. So that's what ended up happening. And then, we sold the deal. We made some money on it. And then, boom, we just got the next one and kept going.
Damn, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, when I graduated from school, I graduated in January from Rutgers, and then in February I opened up the company, Awesome Homes.
Wait, what? Oh, the Awesome Homes is a thing.
Yeah, Awesome Homes is the LLC that I created.
Interesting.
The business that I created. So I graduated in January, and then in February I opened up the LLC.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and then it's from there.
And then ever since, you never had to use that damn bachelor's degree, bro.
Yeah. Never.
Thankfully, right?
Yeah,
Knock on wood.
thankfully,
You don't have to use it, right?
Yo, but that shit is a fucking story in itself. Like, because I was not good at school.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the only way that I could finish school was to, like, literally torture myself to finish.
Yeah.
It's the only way. Like, I'm telling you, bro, I took, you know, like, sometimes you take summer classes.
Yes.
To, like,
speed up the
to
process.
graduate, right? It wasn't to speed up the process. I ended up, bro, I took summer classes, 3 summers in a row, maxed out the credits.
Holy shit.
Just to graduate.
Yeah.
It takes 125 credits or something like that to graduate.
Yeah.
I took 165 credits.
Holy shit.
That's how many classes I failed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
I took XPOS writing.
Yeah,
Expository
yeah.
writing. I took that shit 3 times.
Wait, I thought you wait. I did that shit too. Ours was called English Comp because we were in Rutgers, Newark.
Yeah.
But I failed every
Yeah.
prereq, bro.
Yeah.
I failed English Comp the first time, had to take it again.
Yeah.
Passed it.
Yeah.
I failed English Comp 2, had to retake it. While I'm failing this shit, I'm also failing all of my math.
Yeah.
I was putting like the lowest level of math, bro. I was doing
Yeah.
like fucking like I was doing like college algebra, bro.
Yeah.
College algebra. When my sister got into college, she was like way ahead, all the way into
man. With the APs and shit.
Into whatever calculus, right?
Yeah.
Or advanced calculus.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're doing fucking." I used to go to my sister for help, bro. She was in like high school at the time, you know. And I'm like, "Can you help me
Younger
with this?"
sister.
Yeah, younger.
Yeah.
She's 5 years younger than me. She used to help me with my homework. She'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing in school? Like, where are you?"
Yeah, bro. Same. I know. I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
We the same, bro.
Holy no, we literally all the fucking same.
Yeah.
Bro. Jesus Christ.
So like that's what happened, bro. But I ended up. The thing is that I got it done. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
yes. That's
in
the most important part.
Bro, in this summer, fucking 95 degrees and shit. Like you should be out chilling, like going to the beach, having fun. 3 summers in a row, I was in the fucking library. I locked myself in a room from like 10 a.m. to like fucking 7 p.m. Like I didn't have time for anything. My friends would hit me up like, "Yo, let's go here, let's go bowling, let's do this shit." I'm like, "Yo, I don't have time." And that was it. I just woke up, went to the gym, ate some breakfast, went straight to school. You know what I mean? And I did that because at home I couldn't concentrate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just ended up locking myself in a room in a library.
Yeah.
And just busting it out for 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
And I paid for it, all of it. Like I paid for all of it. Like I didn't take any money from my parents. I was like, dude, you guys gotta save your own money. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. Yeah.
Now ever since then now have you ever had to ask like that uncle for money to fund your other homes? Or how did you start doing that?
That's a great question. So after the first one went well, we're like, all right, fuck it, let's do it again. So we get another property, and then we do that, and then I start advertising myself, promoting myself, right? That's where social media comes in. I start promoting myself, and I ended up getting other investor money, right? So then at this point now, I have like a couple different investors that I work with that are really close, and we use those funds to buy property. Plus, I use like hard money, which is like
hard
hard
really
money.
high interest rates and stuff.
Construction loan money, flip money.
Got it. Okay.
12-month terms, stuff like that.
Got it. Okay.
So I have really great relationship with the hard money guys because I've done a lot of projects.
Yep.
So,
and they trust you now.
Then they trust me now, right? So like it's a trust thing, you know. It's a people business, you know. That's how it is. So that's it's ended up snowballing. Where I started doing bigger properties, I started doing bigger flips. Actually, right now I'm doing a new construction. This is the first new construction that I'm doing. You know. So ended up just building, man. Here we are.
Dude, that's fucking amazing, bro. That's a real hustle story right there.
Thank you, man.
Now your main pool of your source of income is the Awesome Homes company.
Yeah, Awesome Homes. Yeah. That's my full thing. It's my 100%.
That's what you're doing.
That's what I do. You know what I mean?
Wow. Bro.
Yeah. It's all been a leading story to get to that point.
Yeah. And you would think like, you know, when I first met you and I was like, because I saw investor in the title on your Instagram and stuff, but my ideology is always like, okay, he's an investor, but like, what was he doing to save up the money to get to that point? But you just went full on investor.
Didn't have any money.
Yeah, that's
I made my money investing. Yeah, I didn't have any money.
That's crazy, bro.
It's investors are people that you want to put up their money to get a return.
Exactly.
So I had my time. You have time or money.
Yeah.
So I had a hell of time. I'm like, bro, fuck it. I might as well use the time.
I'll take care of this shit for you.
Yeah, because investors usually think about an investor, right? Typical investor has a business or two, has a family, right? Is invested in multiple different things. They don't have random 8 hours during the day to just dedicate to a project.
Exactly.
They'd love to do a project, but you know what I mean? They just don't have the time.
Right.
But they want to make the money, right? So for me, I was on the opposite spectrum. I had no money, but I had the time. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, let's use my time. Let's gather some investor funds and do it. But dude, the thing is, you got to be able to start from the bottom. And I'm grateful, fortunate, because I was able to start from the bottom.
Right.
And with the first investment deal that I took, bro, I literally took like a very, very, very small percentage of the profit. Like so small. I think it was like 90% was given to the investor.
Really?
Yeah, I took like barely anything.
Interesting.
And I knew that from the beginning. I was like, this one's not going to make me that much money. But it didn't matter because it was like, bro, it's the experience.
Was that your uncle?
That was my uncle. That was my uncle.
10% you took, right?
Part of the deal was like, bro, like, I'll do all the work. You just put up the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
but it was really just to build the trust.
It was just the experience, bro.
Yeah.
It was the trust, but it was also the experience, right?
Yeah.
Like then when I graduated from school, I was like, bro, I have a flip under my belt. You know what I mean? Which is like, not a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So then it's like, all right, this gives me leverage now to go and look for other investors. To say, hey, bro, you want to invest in this property? They'll be like, all right.
Here's the proof that I just did
what
one.
the fuck have you done? Like, bro, look at it. You know what I mean?
Look at this one.
Yeah, look at this one.
And then the beautiful thing is you're also like, yeah, I could go find a contractor, but I did this shit by myself too.
Yeah. And it builds, bro. It builds.
Exactly.
Now it's at a point where it's like, I have to select and work with only like a handful of people. You know what I mean?
So are you still doing the same thing then? Where you find the people and you still have the time and you're allocating time for the money?
It depends, right?
Yeah.
So like I've gotten to the position now where I can just invest in my own projects. Like the new construction, it's my project. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing that. But there's always the way to scale is to work with other people.
Of course, yeah.
Think about it like this, right? Like Facebook makes a bunch of money,
Mm-hmm.
but Facebook still gives stock because they raise more money.
Right.
Now they can do more shit.
Correct.
See what I mean? So it's like you're never big enough to not take OPM, other people's money.
Of course.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So, and I'm still a very small fish compared to the ambitions that I have. You know what I mean? So I've opened up different projects so I can work with other investors and also have my own project. So it's like multiple different projects. You know what I mean? But
Interesting.
But it grew from a position where I was like, I had to fight to get every dollar to the company. I mean, well, not to the company, to the project, right? To get the investor. But now it's at a point where I have several projects under my belt. So it's like, now I got to turn away people.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
right.
dude, if you don't have the right values and the right principles, I can't work with you.
Right.
Like, if somebody's going to invest money with me and then call me every morning and be like, yo, what happened with the money? What happened
Right.
with the money? Right.
Right.
Be like, bro, I can't work with you. You know what I mean? Real estate is it takes 6 months on average to get a deal closed.
Right.
You know how it goes, bro.
course.
Closings, escrow, random shit comes up. You know what I mean?
Renovations.
Shit happens, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But we're still the good thing is that if you have people that have experience, right, they can handle when shit comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I do. You know what I mean? I'm not if you're investing money with me, I'm not saying, bro, nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
I'm saying, bro, if it happens, when it happens, not even if.
Just be patient.
When it happens, right, I'll be there because I've had the experience of doing multiple projects. I'll know what to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm asking you to trust that.
Exactly.
So now I'm selective about who I work with. But,
Interesting. So what about the Instagram then? Because you have a large amount of followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So how did you build it up to that level? Is this
great
all
question.
word of mouth, or are you
No. Hell no.
hitting algorithms?
Yeah.
Are you paying for them? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Great
Like,
question, man.
Yeah.
So the way it started was like, remember I told you a little bit before that I'm naturally have a tendency to be curious with a lot of things.
Yes.
So like at a certain point when I was in college, I was like, you know what, bro, I gotta start dressing better. You know what I mean? And I started picking up like style a little bit, fashion a little bit, because I'm like, I care about the way that, you know, I want to show myself to the world. You know what I mean? So I started, but I didn't know anything about fashion. I didn't know anything about style or how to dress, like how to groom myself, none of that shit. You know what I mean? So ended up going, boom, back to YouTube University, right? Picking up information about how do I dress better? What kind of shit do I pick? You know what I mean? I'm also like naturally shorter, right? So like, how do I dress so I can appear like larger or like more presentable? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if I'm a short guy and I'm wearing like fucking stupid baggy
Yeah,
shorts,
yeah.
I'm gonna look even smaller.
Tailor
right?
them. Yeah.
So it's like, bro, like how can you put yourself in a position where you're the best that you can be? You know what I mean? So basically, I started picking up style things, and I liked it so much that I would start posting style related shit. So if you go back on my Instagram, you'll see mostly like clothing type shit.
That's all like model stuff.
Yeah, modeling shit, clothing stuff. Like I'd go to the city, get pictures taken.
Yeah.
Like post those because I just liked it. I was curious about it. There's no like monetary like attachment to it. Like I didn't think about how's this gonna make
True
me money.
passion. You loved
It
it.
was just like I fucking liked it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I was
yeah.
like, fuck it, let's post it. You know. So that's what ended up happening. So I started to post shit, and when I was doing that, there were like men's fashion was like I don't know if you remember this, but like men's fashion and like Pinterest and like all that kind of shit was like just coming to like life at that time. Like it wasn't really popular the way that it is right nowadays. Like nowadays on social media, TikTok, YouTube, there's a bunch of like men's fashion influencers and stuff like that.
I mean, the first person I think about is that guy teaching men's fashion.
Teaching men's fashion.
Yeah.
This is like around the time where like he was a couple years deep at this point.
Yeah.
But he wasn't so popular. Like, you know, now
he's huge now.
Yeah, now he's huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah.
But back then, bro, it was like him and like one other guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't
yeah.
like that. It wasn't that popular. So that content wasn't that like it wasn't that abundant.
Yeah.
So what I started doing when I started posting that content, I got a lot of hit ups. I got a lot of DMs from different pages. Beard pages, like shoes pages.
Like, let me post your stuff on our thing.
Yeah. Let me post your stuff on our thing. Some of the smaller ones, they would be like, yo, let me just take some of your stuff and post it. I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
And then I just shout them out. You know what I mean? Or they shout me out, right?
Right.
And I started to gain followers from that. And then some of them were like paid, right? They had like a lot of followers, right? Some of the smaller ones would have 1,000 or 2. The bigger ones would have like 100,000, 200,000. Then they'd be like, yo, $40 to like post your picture on our thing, right? I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll get some more exposure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, boom. So I paid for a couple of them, and then some of them were just like, and then as I started to grow it, like the bigger ones would hit me up and like, yo,
like,
we'll just
do
post your
it.
shit for free. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's how it started to build. And then like I remember this one day, bro. Like I had this big ass page post me. I had like 7,000 followers in one day. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in like one day.
Holy shit.
Yeah, straight up.
And they got good engagement. This is like probably something that had like 300,000 followers on Instagram.
Some of them had a good engagement. Some of them didn't. Like a lot of them were like, so like with followers especially, like some of them are like all throughout the world. You know?
Yeah.
U.S. ones are like probably the most highest engagement.
Of course,
if you're from
yeah,
the U.S.
makes sense.
But like a lot of them that are like in like South America or like different parts of Africa or like even a lot of the different places, like the engagement's really low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay.
But like, it is what it is, man. I liked posting what I was posting.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck it. If people could get inspiration from this, then I'm cool with it.
And it works out too because you have a lot of people that see like the follower count.
Exactly.
And they're like, yo, who is this guy? Like, I want to work with him. And then when they see investor,
yeah,
they're like, oh, I'm definitely working with them. You have that credibility that already,
exactly,
that immediately got flowed in because of the follower count, right?
100%, bro.
Now you also got a podcast, bro. So here's, you know, I mean, the Instagram thing is the Instagram thing. You'll post every now and then. You're not on there all the time, right?
Yeah.
But you got Awesome Homes and then you got Awesome Bros podcast.
Yeah.
And you were doing that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just know that behind the camera, Christian's gonna be like, bro, fucking Chintal owned you on your own fucking podcast, bro. Because we could tell that you're a podcaster, bro. You're talking like you know how to hold a conversation.
I appreciate it.
And I mean, obviously your story is just fucking magnificent. But
thank you.
You also got a podcast too.
Yeah.
When did you start that? And like, are you guys still doing that or what?
Yeah, podcast.
What were you guys really talking about too?
Podcast we started actually like right around when COVID hit. And we did it until July of last year. Actually.
You and your brother and one other person.
Yeah, me and my brother and my boy. His name is Harsh, and
he's the one that I met at the gym.
He's the one that you met at the gym.
Yes.
And he's basically like, we grew up together pretty much. I've known him for a long time, so he's basically like a brother. So when I introduced him to people, it was like, yeah, that's my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, we did it for like roughly a little bit over a year. The last podcast episode that we recorded was July of last year.
Okay.
So it's been about a year since we dropped another one. But yeah, man, the inspiration behind the podcast was like, there's so many stories and so many things that we've learned throughout, you know, just our time of hustling. You know what I mean? And a lot of it's a little different than when, you know, it's normal. So we're like, fuck it, bro. Let's just get this out there, motivate people, inspire people.
Yeah.
Because I remember, bro, when I was in school, and people used to give me all these fucking excuses. You know, like, I was in school and then somebody would be like, oh, like, I'm getting this internship. I'm going to go work for this company. I'm like, yeah, but do you really want to? And they're like, nah, but like, you know, this is
my parents are making me do it.
My parents are like, this
but look
is
at the money.
This is like normal or whatever. I'm like, bro, you fucking suck. You know what I mean? Like this fucking sucks, bro. You know? Like I've never understood that mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bro, if anything, you're graduating school. You're young, bro. Like you're 22 or something.
Fucking time, bro.
Bro, you could fucking fuck up your whole life until 30, and you'll still be all right.
Yo, you think just like me, bro. When I tell people right now, I'm always like, videos is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
So like, my heart jumps when somebody's like, yeah, I want to make this video, but I didn't. I'm like, why? Yeah. I'm like really grilling them now. I'm like, why? I do videos. So like, yo, do it if that's what, because now this is another friend and I'm clearly I'm passionate about it. I'm fucking talking about that shit, right? You know? I'm like, why aren't you doing videos? You should do it. Anything in that aspect of like, I want to do something, but I can't because of this. I can't because of this. That's not who I am. But it's like, bro, do it. Excuses. Because I tell people, yo, the exact same thing you just fucking said. We are the same human beings, bro. Yeah. And I don't even know, like, but you're Patel, I'm South Indian. But we still Indian at the end of the day, baby. We're the same human being.
You can be fucking purple, bro. It don't matter. You know what I mean?
So, what's it called? So I'd be like, yo, think about it. Even if, and this is anybody, even if you're 27 and you fucking fuck up. Like, there's that book by Malcolm Gladwell, The Outliers, where he's like the 10,000 hour rule, which equates to like if you work like 10 hours a day for like 10 years or something, right? You specialize or you become a master in this specialization, right? Okay, so even if you fuck up, me or you, 27 years old, if you keep fucking up and you make it finally, and let's just say it takes you 10 years. Let's say it takes you 20 years. Bro, you're only 47. I'm still younger than my dad is right now.
Straight up, bro.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if it does take 10 years and you consistently do something, you're only 37. That's nothing. That's literally nothing.
You
could be 57, that's still nothing. You're still young.
It's a great point. People have a fucked up perception of time. You know what I mean? Because they get the idea from their parents. And their parents lived a different life. You know what I mean? Like, their life expectancy is less. So by 30, you kind of have to have shit figured out for them. Because your life, their grandparents too.
Or social media, bro.
Social media too.
You see social media.
So it's like, you know, for me, I've always felt like, all right, when you're 22, this is the prime time to be as risky as possible. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a dream or a goal, some kind of risk that you want to take, this is the time. You know what I mean? Like, say tomorrow, Awesome Homes turns into shit. I got fucking sued. Everything goes to zero. I'll still wake up in the morning. I'll do the same exact shit that I do. I'm gonna fucking make eggs, go to the gym, fucking come home and try to do some work. I don't have kids right now. I have a wife, right? I don't have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I fucked up. You know what I mean?
I think you have this one thing where it's like, and this is this guy, Naval Ravikant. I found him on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
But he was saying like making money is a skill.
Yeah.
And he was saying like he was like, if you drop me into like some. He said, if you drop me right now, I lost all my money, and you put me in some foreign country that at least spoke English, I'd make all my money back in 5 years.
There you go.
It's a skill at the end of the day.
It's a skill.
And then Joe was like, how? And he was like, well, it's all about. He was like, because I have the skill, I know who to talk to.
Yeah.
I know who has the money.
Of course.
I reach out to them.
Yeah.
And then like you just did, which is you're selling yourself to investors.
Of course.
You just get OPM at the end of the day, then go venture out and do whatever it is that you want to do, as long as you're passionate about that one thing. You know what I mean?
Bro, if you're a hustler, you're going to figure it out.
Bro, if you're a hustler, you'll fucking figure it out, bro. So we are literally the same people in the sense of like, we both probably did fucking shit. No, you were. I mean, no, we're not different in that sense. You did a lot of work in school, bro. I still didn't do shit. Like I was failing my classes since the day I remember getting report cards.
Yeah.
I was doing horrible because I focused more on like talking to people.
Of course.
You know, and of course, like you said, like bro, being in an immigrant family, especially Indian family, they don't understand.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing good in school? Like,
of course.
My teacher one time told my dad that I was a class clown. Like, I was fucking up other people's work.
Yeah.
Like, I was distracting other people in the class.
Yeah,
and he came home and he was like, why are they calling my son a clown? Like, what the fuck is a clown? Like, what's a class clown? He didn't know
what that meant yet.
But I'm over here, like, trying to, like, treat this shit like it's a comedy show. Like, I'm trying to get people's attention. I'm trying to make people laugh, etc., etc.
Naturally gifted at that. So
thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of like the fish analogy, right? Like,
you
weren't meant for that.
Right.
Like,
why are you trying to tell me to climb a tree? It's not who I am.
Exactly.
You know?
So you were just created for something else.
Right. Exactly. And that's fucking you, bro. Like you found the one thing that you are good at and you stuck with that.
I appreciate it.
And listen, you could have picked up a 9 to 5. You could have done anything else, but you just knew deep down that aside from your childhood and how you were brought up, but you just knew deep down, you're like, bro, if I did that, I'll hate my fucking life. Because at the end of the day, man, we only have one life.
Yeah.
You know, how are you spending it? How are you living it?
It's the biggest thing, bro.
And, you know, we could work 9 to 5s, but I think at the end of the day, I'm chasing after purpose and fulfillment.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I go by gut feeling. Like if I'm doing something,
Yeah.
and I'm overthinking it, or I'm doing it and it doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
Like when I talk about videos, I jumped up.
Exactly.
When you talk about investing, you jump up. When you talk about podcasting, you jump up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if it's not making me do that, then fuck this shit.
Exactly.
Because I at least know for a fact that when I'm doing this one thing and I'm genuinely excited, that excitement will not die off. And if it does, that's fine. I'll go to something else that also excites me.
Exactly.
But if I'm forcing something,
Yeah.
and I'm like dying inside, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
You know, you had one fucking hell of a life, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
You really fucking did, dog.
Appreciate it, bro.
And that's and I just knew. This is the beauty of it. I didn't even know who you were.
Yeah.
And I just fucking knew.
Yeah.
That bringing you on, you would have some
sense.
sort of crazy story. And this is, I feel like, only like a fraction of who you really are as a person.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you for coming here on such a short notice.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you for sharing your story, because a lot of people are probably going through the same thing, or they're too scared to go through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? And you inspired me. I'll tell you fucking that. That's what matters at the end of the day.
Man.
You know, I appreciate you, bro.
For sure, bro.
So I want you to just let people know where they could find you on the social medias and the internets and all your beautiful companies that you got.
For sure, man. That's great. You guys can find me on Instagram at Chintal, CHINTALC.
Yeah.
There's a couple fucking fake accounts out there, so just make
Yo,
sure you
you
spell it
be
right.
going through that all the time.
Dude, that shit is fucking crazy, man. But
They always have underscores.
Yeah, it's always underscores, and they copy the whole thing. I mean, a lot of people
crazy.
deal with that, but
They get the avatar
Instagram gotta fucking verify me, bro. That's the problem, you know.
Max, they need to fucking verify you. That's 20 grand right now, bro.
Yeah, so that, and then also on IG at Awesome Bros Podcast.
Awesome Bros Podcast.
Find me and my brother there, and yeah, man, that's pretty much it.
I hope doing this podcast has ignited you to want to go and start your own again.
Yeah, 100%.
Like start up again.
Yeah,
you're Awesome
100%.
Bros.
100%.
It's the same thing of people being like, "Oh, I want to do videos. I can't." It's like, why can't you? So when you stop the podcast, I'm like, start it up again. Do it. I'll be the guest.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
Doug, thank you so much. All right, like you heard him, Chintal C on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, all that stuff, TikTok, Twitter, and if you just type in. You're one of those I know. If they just type that in on Google, everything pops up. Awesome Homes, everything.
Yeah.
Bro, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, my
friend. And I hope to have you again. Hustles always change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
New mindset, new hustle, new company, new whatever.
Yeah.
So this is not the end of having you on here, bro. I know I'm going to have you a fucking million times for as long as this podcast goes on.
Just to start, man.
This is just a start.
I'm fucking excited for it. You know
this
what I mean?
is an amazing episode. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man.
All right. Check out for Chintal on Google. Just type in his name. You'll find him.